I don't have a great answer for you, but in terms of the one question you asked in terms of scouting in Russia, the Wild have not had a scout in Russia until this past season.
From Matt Zenner, did you get the presidential suite in your hotel in Vegas and in Winnipeg?
Nope, normal hotel room, I promise.
My God, that's sad. That's just sad. Yeah. It used to be a big deal.
Yeah, I know. It really bothers me, actually.
When we know, that's why we ask. From Mark.
Actually, the Golden Knights are staying at my hotel here, so I think that's why I've got a normal hotel room. Yeah.
Well, who gets the presidential suite out of that group?
Well, the GM, the coach. That happens in every. GM and coach always gets a suite.
Let's see. Mark asked a very detailed question that I think would take half an hour to answer, so I'm not going to do that one this week. And from Mr. Irrelevant, Futon GM, which is the greatest handle on Twitter, Futon GM. Leopold signed Parise and Suter for business, thus handcuffing the Wild for 12 years at a time when the Wild could have been at the bottom of the league and racked up a string of high draft picks to develop into a contender. Is Leopold too hands-on?
It's his team.
Yeah.
I mean, he decides it. If you want to buy the team, you do it. I mean, his job is to grow the business. It's his full-time job, and he wanted to change the culture of this team, and it did change the business of this team. You could definitely debate whether or not whether that's the right thing, that they should have bottomed out and been in a position where you could draft your way to the top. But that's the way that he chose not to do it. So, I mean, again, that's the way that he decided. We can all have our ideas of the best tack, but it's not our money that was sunk into this organization. And you could, look, the Wild have to do a better job drafting. I was just looking at Winnipeg's drafts, and they've drafted all throughout the first round, early, middle, late. They never miss. They have 10 first-round picks, I think, in their lineup right now.
Wow.
They've hit on every one, and the Wild don't do that. So that's where they have to do a better job. You can draft where the Wild are drafting and still have a good team, still draft game breakers. And they've missed on some picks. So that's one area that this new GM is going to have to look at is their draft development area and figure out a way to do it. Because it doesn't matter, hindsight 8-9 years ago, what Craig Leopold decided to do with $260 million he bought this team with. It's not, it doesn't matter anymore. They made their bed with Parise and Suter. Right now, this is the way it's going to be, no matter who comes in here. And so they've got to figure out a way to improve that area of the organization.
And the thing is, we all tend to, when we second guess, assume that another approach would work dramatically better. What they could have had happen, they could have passed on Parise and Suter, drafted poorly, and just been a bottom feeder for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I mean, Edmonton, it certainly hasn't helped them. I mean, it looks like last year was the aberration, not this year. Let's put it that way. They've been a bottom feeder for a long time. So again, with my only answer to that is I'm not doubting. I'm not for what Futon GM said. I'm not disagreeing with your Parise Suter handcuffing the team and your philosophy of racking up high draft picks and developing that way, because you and I have kind of harped on that for years.
Right.
But where I took exception to the question is Leopold too hands-on? It's his team. He decides on how he wants to grow the business. And yes, I mean, you are right that Leopold was the big proponent in signing those guys your deals, but that's the way they decided to do it. And now it's a matter of, after they made their bed, figuring out a way to get this team over the hump, because they are definitely stuck right now in a bit of a neutral, and I don't want to say quicksand, because I don't think that they're sinking, but they're definitely kind of spinning their wheels right now, and they got to figure out a way to get this team over the hump.
A new feature, we're going to call it Final Thought or Not, because Michael might give us one or not. Thanks to Twill in the Dining Galleria, twillmn.com. Again, I just picked up some Peter Millar and Johnny O golf stuff and comfortable kind of casual clothes that I like wearing around during the summer. Fixology Repair, third floor of the Mall of America and downtown on the Skyway. Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin and all parts of Minnesota. Give me your final thought or not.
I just one thing I'm reading this Points Guy story. Did you see this story where a bunch of aviation experts investigated all the data of that Malaysia air flight from years ago.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
They definitely say that the pilot intentionally crashed the plane.
Oh, wow.
The plane that they haven't been able to find.
Yep.
I don't know why that's my final thought, but that's the thing I've been kind of, this whole show, it was the one thing that I saw on Twitter. I'm like, I got to go back and read this. So, isn't that one of the great mysteries of our time? That plane that just still has not been found.
I would say it's a great mystery unless that's the thing. To me, it would be a great mystery if it was anything other than the pilot was suicidal and he decided to wreck the plane someplace it wouldn't be found.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely missing. I mean, if I remember, he went back over wherever the heck they took off on, and then essentially flew south, they think, and it crashed somewhere like heading toward Antarctica, like by Australia or something. It was just nuts. So the other Malaysia air flight, remember the one that was just shot out of the sky over the Ukraine?
Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah, and that one's just like, all right, no big deal. Just nobody pays for that. It's just ridiculous.
Any other happy thoughts we can end with, Michael?
No, I'm in that kind of mood here.
Hey, Michael, enjoy your next flight.
Yeah, thank you. I will. This is a great podcast.
You know what? I thought it was a good, solid podcast until you
It
started
was
bringing
very
up
informational,
pilots.
but definitely not a lot of laughs.
No, not a lot of laughs. Absolutely not. I think but that's part of doing a phoner. When we're together, we can make fun of each other.
No, I know.
Easily.
There is something about there's something about not just not being on the phone, but like having a headset on and hearing the microphone in your ears, and you know what I mean. There's just something about that makes it just a much more fun podcast. So
absolutely,
next time
you'll just have to quit traveling.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world